Hello, I'm Richie Hunley, and I'm here with Heather Davis, a freshman advisor here at Lindsey Wilson College, as part of our weekly feature, First Gen Friday, here on the PSC YouTube page. Heather was the first in her family to attend college and graduate with a bachelor's degree. Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Heather Davis, and I'm originally from Russell Springs, Kentucky, which is just 15 minutes west, I guess you would say, or east of Columbia. And college for me was always understood. Whenever I was in high school, I did fairly well for myself. Didn't quite graduate with the GPA that I wanted to, but that's because I chose not to take the AP classes and instead take the choir class that I so thoroughly enjoy. And when I graduated, Lindsey Wilson was not my first choice, but I had a change of heart later in the summer, and I would not have taken anything from my journey now, as the old song goes. And it was just, like I said, it was just understood that I was going to go to college. But the thing about it being understood is that didn't really make any sense because nobody in my family had gone to college before I did. And no one, for sure, had achieved a 4-year degree at all before I went on to do that. So the precedent wasn't there, but the expectation was there.
Okay, and what degree did you attain while you were here at Lindsey?
I got a Bachelor in Christian Ministries.
Okay, and did you go on and further your education as well?
I did. I went on to Campbellsville University and got my Master of Theology degree. The cool thing is that Lindsey Wilson now has a Master of Arts in Christian Leadership, and if that would have been here beforehand, I probably would have done that. But I'm so thankful for the graduate degree that I was able to get as a result of being hired on right after I graduated. I actually was able to get a master's degree paid for, so that was a huge perk for me. And being a first-generation college student, just the 4-year degree was good enough for me. Before I was given the opportunity to get a master's degree paid for, that was not even on my radar. And whenever I got hired on here, eventually I figured out that was going to further my career. So I figured out what I really enjoyed. Stop there. Dr. Swan used to tell us in our classes to find out what you love to do and figure out a way to get paid for it. And so that was my goal. Theology and the study of God and Christian ministries is my passion, and so I decided to study more into it and get a better education and hopefully get a better job.
So what was your first year in college like?
My first year of college was interesting, much like those of you and much like some freshmen that I have had experience with lately. I chose several things. My first year was all about finding out what the heck I was doing here and how in the world to navigate this new way of going to class, these early classes, this new freedom, this not having a conglomerate of people to go with to every class. And trying to figure out all that freedom was hard for me. Whenever I first, started going here, there were days I didn't go to class at all because I would stay up all night with my friends and not want to go to class the next morning. And of course, you have to put in your time and do the 8 o'clock and the 8:30 classes whenever you're first getting here. The end of my freshman year was not telling of my intelligence at all. It was very telling of my lack of motivation and lack of effort. I graduated high school with a 3.83 grade point average, and I finished my freshman year here at Lindsey Wilson with a 1.8 GPA. And I was on academic probation. I had to have meetings with the deans because I was not doing what I needed to do. I wasn't making the grades. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. I wasn't causing any problems in the residence halls. I did live on campus, but it was not good.
Would you consider that your biggest challenge that you had while you were in school, or were there other challenges?
There that was a big challenge for me, just getting over myself, basically. The other challenge was probably financial. I had a lot of financial challenges. There was a time before my sophomore year where I didn't know if I would come back, and I was graciously given an amount of money to come back to school. There were some challenges with my family that could have made me drop out, just because family is very important, and there were times when they were there, times when they weren't, and if I didn't have the grit about me to go ahead and just get the job done, it probably would have stopped. But there were several challenges, but the lack of effort, lack of motivation for a time was my biggest challenge.
So what do you think ultimately led you to succeed and get that 4-year degree?
I think there were people at this institution that were very instrumental in me finally wising up and getting the job done, like I said. There were people like Dean of Students Chris Schmidt. There were people like Kurt Lee. There were people like my RA. A couple of my RAs took it upon themselves to say to me, Heather, you're going to succeed if it kills me. They got me a job as an RA, or they didn't get me the job. They encouraged me heavily to apply, and I finally had the GPA to get it, and so they gave me a job. And there were just people here that loved me more than I loved myself at times, and gave me more opportunity. Thus, I was able to graduate. I was able to graduate with a 3.0 GPA, I believe. I was hired on full-time, which was not on my radar at all. I didn't know that Residence Life wanted me as a full-time person. And so I was given opportunities that I didn't always deserve. And so that is what ultimately helped me to succeed.
So I know that you have completed your master's degree now. Mm-hmm. Do you have any plans at all to continue on and maybe pursue further higher education? There
are some plans. They're not any concrete plans right now. I would like to go on and pursue a more concentrated degree in theological studies. I love to teach. I love to learn. I love church history. I love all the things that have led us as a society to be who we are in the religious realm of things. So I would like to do some more heavy studying on that. I know that those of you that are watching this right now are like, I do not want to do any more studying after my 4-year degree. I just want to graduate and get a job. But you'll see that, if you have a love for school at all, you'll start to get the itch. That's what I refer to it as. I waited 1.5 years to do my master's, and I loved every minute of it because I had the itch. It's been 3 years since I finished my master's, and I am getting the itch bad to go back to school and learn. So that's a possibility, for sure. It's a for sure possibility. The probability of that very soon is probably a little lower than I would like for it to be, but I do want to.
Okay. Well, our last question today would be, what is the one best piece of advice that you would offer to other first-generation college students?
The best piece of advice would be to use your resources. And I tell my students now, and there may be some of you watching this, that it is harder to fail at this college than it is to pass. And I believe that wholeheartedly, because there are so many resources here to help you succeed. There are people that love you. There are professors that want to see you succeed. There are tutors that get paid to help you as much as you possibly need. That just means more hours for them. There are Residence Life staff that are there at times whenever there's no one there. I used to be there. I used to be in housing, and so I know that there are moments at 3 o'clock in the morning whenever you may need somebody. They will be there for you. There's public safety. There's the president of the college. He is there all the time. there are all kinds of people that are here to help you succeed. And my best piece of advice for you would be to tap into those resources and not try to do it on your own, because you will fail on your own, because you won't be able to deal with it all together. You're going to deal with homesickness, you're going to deal with some failing grades, you're going to deal with not meeting your expectations, you're going to deal with friend troubles, residence hall troubles if you live on campus. You're going to deal with all these things. And I say that with pretty good certainty because in some form or fashion you're going to deal with all of them. And you need to know that the resources are there, and that you don't have to set your expectations so high or set your standards so high to where you can't meet them, because you have to know that you can meet them. Otherwise, you're going to constantly feel like a failure.
Heather, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be a part of this. Join us every week on Friday for another First Generation Friday feature.